Alright, what is up guys? Brian here, and this is my Lucha Underground review for last night's episode. So let's get right into it. Of course, last night's episode featured three solid matches. If you did not watch last night's episode, I would recommend checking it out. This was actually a pretty good show this week. So let's get right into it. We started off with the first of two second round matches in the Cueto Cup tournament. This would determine who would go on to the semifinals. One was Pindar, 1/3 of the Trios champions, along with Drago and Vibora. He took on Phoenix in a one-on-one matchup. Of course, Cobra Moon was in Pindar's corner. And ring announcer Melissa Santos, she was cheering on Phoenix. They're doing that whole storyline with Phoenix and Melissa Santos and Marty the Moth Martinez and his sister. And that is gonna. I'll talk about that one in a minute. But Phoenix and Pindar both looking to advance in the tournament to the semifinals. This was actually a very impressive matchup, a very impressive showing by Pindar. Of course, Phoenix looked very impressive in this matchup as well. But in the end, it was Phoenix with the double knee stomp to Pindar that finally put him away. So Phoenix advances to the semifinals of the tournament, of the Cueto Cup tournament, and he'll face in a match that he'll face the winner of the next match that I'm going to discuss, which was Prince Puma taking on Dante Fox. This one, another very solid matchup, in my opinion. A lot of back and forth, a lot of action in this one. That could have gone in a match that could have gone either way, but in the end, it was Prince Puma with the shotgun dropkick to Dante Fox, nailing him and putting him into the corner, and then Prince Puma would go up to the top rope and hit the 630, a move that helped him win the Lucha Underground Championship the first time around. And now this move, the 630, it helped Prince Puma advance to the semifinals. So the semifinals are set. It is going to be Prince Puma taking on Phoenix and Mil Muertes taking on Jeremiah Crane. So those are two very solid semifinal matches that will be taking place. So then we move on. They had a couple of clips of one of Dario Cueto talking to his brother Matanza while Matanza was locked up in that cell that Dario has him in, talking about how Matanza needs to control his anger and stuff like that. They had another one with Captain Velasquez talking to one of her officers about trying to get who is a part of Lucha Underground. I forget the guy's name. I'm sorry. He wrestled under a mask as, I believe it was Veneno. I believe it was. She was looking at a clip of the guy wrestling Cage from a couple. It was either a couple weeks back or about a month or so back. She then told the guy that she wants the gauntlet, which is that glove that Cage wears. She started explaining how Cage walked into the city hall and killed a councilman and all this stuff. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens with that story. And then of course the clip that ended Lucha Underground was of Melissa Santos and Phoenix leaving the temple. Phoenix offering to walk Melissa to her car, And of course, they didn't know that they were being watched by Marty the Moth Martinez. Melissa asked Phoenix if he always wears the mask. Phoenix said not always, only during when he's fighting. And then Marty the Moth Martinez, you would be shown saying that he's going to take off the mask of Phoenix and show Melissa how ugly Phoenix is underneath the mask. All this stuff. And that pretty much ended Lucha Underground. But the main event, which was Lucha Underground champion Johnny Mundo, in a non-title match, took on El Dragon Azteca Jr., Rey Mysterio's protege. This was another very impressive matchup. Johnny Mundo, of course, wanting to build momentum heading into his title defense against Rey Mysterio in 3 weeks. And of course, El Dragon Azteca Jr. wanting to stop that momentum. And like I said, this was a very impressive matchup. A good showing by both individuals. In the end, it was Johnny Mundo with, I believe his finisher is called the End of the World. And that is what helped him pick up the victory last night over El Dragon Azteca Jr. After the match, he would try to injure El Dragon Azteca by taking a steel chair, wrapping it around while El Dragon was laying on the mat. Would take the chair and wrap it around his neck to try to injure him. Rey Mysterio would come out to stop him. And then when Rey Mysterio left, Johnny Mundo would come back out, basically get in the face of Rey Mysterio's wife and his son. Rey Mysterio's son would get up, telling Johnny Mundo to back off. This would lead to Rey Mysterio coming out to try to stop Mundo. He would get taken down by the rest of the Worldwide Underground. And they would hold him and make him watch as Johnny Mundo would then strike with the championship belt Rey Mysterio's son. I believe his name is Dominic. If I remember when they did that whole storyline in WWE, Johnny Mundo would hit Dominic in the face with the championship belt, and then pretty much Rey Mysterio would break free and basically try to go after them, and then would go back to his son and try to get medical help for him. So that was pretty much it for the main event. Obviously, they're adding more fuel to the fire with Mundo striking Mysterio's son, heading into that big title match, and coming up in 3 weeks. And hopefully is going to be a good matchup. It'll be interesting to see how Mysterio will retaliate next week. So that's a big thing going into next week's episode. But overall, my thoughts on Lucha Underground's episode last night, I thought it was a very good episode this week. 3 impressive matches, in my opinion. And a lot of big stories coming in. One side note before I forget, after that Dante Fox Prince Puma match, Killshot would come out, and like I said before I forget, Killshot would come out and lay out Dante Fox, and then would get on the mic and say, "You're right, this is not over." So that's another big feud or rivalry to look forward to as far as what's going to happen next. But yeah, my thoughts on last night's episode, I thought it was a very good episode this week, and it'll be interesting to see what happens next week. So if you guys watched last night's episode, let me know what you guys thought of it in the comments below. This has been my Lucha Underground review for last night's episode. As always, I am Brian, and thank you for watching.